Well, I think I've just come up with a new rule for a press conference. Rule 1. If you have nothing to show off, don't show up, or you'll end up just showing yourself up. This is something a lot of bad E3 press conferences did this year, Gearbox being one of them, and their only saving grace is that they weren't the biggest offender of this sin. If there's one phrase I would use to describe Gearbox's relatively short press conference, it would have to be spectacle over substance, with the runners-up being bored, let down. All the quote-unquote funny vignettes and flair couldn't hide the fact that they really did not have much to give us, and the stuff that was of any interest to us was quickly deflated by having been shown in a previous press conference. Why Gearbox allowed Tiny Tina's Wonderland to be shown at Summerfest is beyond me if they had so little to show here that they dedicated an entire extended segment to saying precisely bugger all about a movie. And speaking of the movie, that was the first thing we got in the opening segment, the Borderlands movie. Did you know there was a Borderlands movie being made? I sure as heck didn't. I mean, you hear all the time about a movie about this game being made. Dark Souls, Watch Dogs, Contra, Five Nights at Freddy's, Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear Solid, and fucking Minecraft? What the fuck? Now, while I have no doubt one or two of these may eventually see the light of day, so many have been pitched or just went nowhere that I'm surprised that yes, Borderlands the movie is indeed in full production. Oh joy!
This is Eli Roth, our director.
Oh fuck! Really, Eli Roth? You couldn't find anyone else to helm this project? Eli is not what you would call a high art director, nor would I say that he's ever really made a film that would be in tone with this franchise. When I think Borderlands, I think campy fun, not someone who actually believes the expression of violence is in itself the fucking art form. And while some know how to make violence enjoyable and campy within itself, Eli Roth's a much darker, grittier, and more visceral approach to filmmaking. There are so many better choices when it comes to fitting the over-the-top violent but fun tone that Borderlands has. You want something more like a Robert Rodriguez. Not only is he directing it, he's also writing the fucking thing. And we know what garbage he likes to write. To be fair, he does have some help on this one. So what has his co-writer done in the past? Dead on arrival. Sorry, I'm going by track record on this. It's going to suck. Moving on. After that painful segment, we moved on to more on Tiny Tina's Wonderland, talking with one of the lead developers. But here we really only got confirmation on stuff we already knew or deeply suspected, but with maybe just the tiniest bit more depth. Nothing about the direction of the game itself, no gameplay to show, detailing exactly how they're going to differ it from Borderlands. Nothing really more of substance here. Like I said before, if it ends up being anything but an extended version of Assault on Dragon Keep, I would be very, very surprised. And I really think that this segment actually shows that. They don't really have much to say, it's just the fact that it's going to be like Assault on Dragon Keep. And that's all. Just show us some goddamn gameplay. The damn thing is coming out in like a year. You must have something to show us. No? Okay then, I guess we'll move on. After that, we got a trailer for Tribe of Midgard, the multiplayer survival action RPG dungeon crawler from Norsefell. I actually like the look of this game. The trailer really does a lot to show off the different characters, the world building, base building, how the combat works, and the different character classes you can assign yourself. It's colourful, cartoony, lends itself to a light-hearted adventure tone. We even got to have a short interview with one of the lead developers who broke down exactly what to expect from the game in better detail. This is exactly everything that Tiny Tina's Wonderland segment should have been. And I actually like this one very much. So much so, I want to take a look at the game. I will probably buy it when it comes out. It's not that long off. And after that peak of hope, we actually get the wind taken out of our sails with an advert for Godfall's new DLC, Fire and Darkness. I suppose Light and Darkness was just too generic. Godfall is the epitome of style and spectacle over substance. The game itself looks nice and plays decently, but fucking hell, when you play it, does it feel hollow and generic and quickly wears out its welcome. So in a way, I guess it's perfect for this press conference. I did not like the vanilla game when it came out, and I really doubt this will fix what is a fundamentally flawed foundation. Try saying that 5 times fast. I would recommend skipping this one, as well as this press conference in general, because that's really it. I mean, we got an awkward interview with Kevin Hart, but in terms of games, that was it. And this is, without a doubt, the biggest dud so far. For all of Ubisoft's flaws, and trust me, they have a lot of flaws, at least they had stuff to show me. It wasn't anything that really lit the world on fire, but for fuck's sake, it was something. This was nothing! A movie lot tour, a revisit to a game previously announced, a multiplayer dungeon crawler, DLC for a very lackluster game, and invasive, annoying vignettes that went about 7 times longer than it took for them to stop being funny. There's a reason the like to dislike ratio on this one looks like this, for fuck's sake. Better to be cringe than to be nothing, I suppose. And that's what this was. It is such a pile of nothing that I have nothing to say about it. So let's talk about Devolver Digital, shall we? If Gearbox was the video game press conference equivalent of dropping a really eggy fart in the room, then Devolver Digital is the equivalent of opening the fucking windows and letting in some fresh air. For God's sake, the thing really, really smells. I fucking love this company. I love their press conferences. I love their ability to parody, satirize, and rip corporate gaming publishers, the biggest asshole known to man. Take digs at the out-of-touch, absent-minded, clueless fucks who sit atop of everything, deciding what we want and what we want to play, all the while hosting an entertaining video game press conference designed to mock and bury the notion of having a video game press conference and dunking on every current year trend that companies bandwagon on. Jesus Christ, I love this company.
Lot to tell you about, all of which is designed to subtly convince you to give us your hard-earned money.
Seriously, if you haven't watched these press conferences, go back and watch them all. They are thoroughly entertaining to watch even now. The digs at rampant consumerism, predatory monetization schemes, loot boxes, game passes, virtual currency, live services, early access, you name it, they've probably taken the piss out of it. They've probably taken a freaking swimming pool load of piss out of it. Oh, and they also happen to publish a bunch of interesting and varied video games. Let's take a look at them, shall we? Trek to Yumi! This was the first game to start out the press conference. What initially appeared to be Ghost of Tsushima but 2D actually managed to claim my interest the more it progressed. Presented in this movie-like cinematic style that pays homage to the samurai movies of old, the game sets out to perfectly blend cinematic storytelling and fast-paced streamlined combat with some beautiful visuals to boot. On the negatives, I feel the trailer did a lot to show off the presentation of the game while doing little to show us exactly what the combat will be like and how the game will be played. Only time will tell with this one, but it is one I am keeping an eye on in the future, that's for sure. Following on, we got a look at Phantom Abyss, described in the trailer itself as an multiplayer game. Phantom Abyss sets you into a procedurally generated temples, the aim of which to conquer and claim great relics and treasures. With fast-paced first-person gameplay, intense and varied traps and roguelike element, this is one that actually looks very interesting to me, and I love the relatively quick and fast-paced gameplay the trailer shows off. Right now, it's still in early access, but if you want to buy it and try it for yourself, I may just do so, I'm not sure yet. I might wait until the whole thing comes out first. After that, we took a look at Wizard with a Gun, a multiplayer isometric stick shooter that combines elements of Western and fantasy. Western and fantasy, not Western fantasy, those are two completely different things, and features the protagonist love children of John Marston from Red Dead Redemption and Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. Looking to have a wide variety of weapons, potions and upgrades, this pretty little game seems to combine shooty bang bang gameplay with elements of fantasy magic. While not showing us a lot, and it being kind of a bit off in terms of release, it certainly caught my interest and I'll be keeping an eye on this one. After that, we got a little trailer for Death's Door, an isometric action RPG which sees you taking on the role of what looks like a crow wielding a lightsaber, is actually the story of a Grim Reaper travelling to a variety of bleak worlds and doing what it does best. The variety of environments also seems to come with a variety of enemies and characters to interact with, and it looks like it's going to be very cool to play. And with it only being a few weeks away from release at the time of writing, I no doubt will be checking this one out. Moving on, the creator of the freaky and trippy Hex and Pony Island descends from whatever planet he lives on to bring us Inscription. And once again, what appears to be a simple game on the surface will descend into a trippy and scary fucked up adventure that will be 2 parts awesome and 6-part nightmare fuel. Daniel Mullins seems to be stepping up his game with this one in terms of the use of assets, going from 2D to 3D while still including those aesthetic choices that defines the look of his games. I would say definitely pick this one up, if only for the fact that you probably would never experience anything like it ever again in your entire life. The irony, of course, that even the great Daniel Mullins couldn't get as mind-fuckety as our next trailer, which features Devolver Tumble Time, and we are really getting into the meta swing of things for this one. Yes, download the latest craze in mobile gaming while ignoring your family, pouring all your finances into what essentially is a clout of ones and zeros, and ruin your life with this simple but addictive gameplay. Devolver Digital do this every year. While they mock and shame the modern gaming industry throughout, they have this one game that is both awesome and a complete mockery of current trends. It's not out yet, I checked, but knowing Devolver, I bet the meta of this one will be through the roof, and I'm interested to see if this is just a joke trailer for a very surface level Devolver game, or if this is the ultimate piss take of mobile gaming. Only time will tell on that one. And of course, it wouldn't be a Devolver Digital press conference without an injection of unique humour while also being a throwback to the old school NES days. So of course, they've got you covered with Demon Throttle, and I don't need to say anything, do I? Just look at the trailer, you know what it is, you know how it plays, and you know if you want it already. Nothing I could say will sway your opinion one way or another. And there we go, two diametrically opposed gaming press conferences streamed at the same time and couldn't be more opposite. And instead of cherry picking my favourites from each, I was able to actually talk about everything on them. Both the same length, but while Gearbox was bloated and padded in order to draw itself out and make it seem like it had more to offer than it actually did, the other was unique and varied and had enough going on to keep my attention throughout. Even my coverage of Devolver Digital does not do justice to their press conferences, so if you take anything away from this, go and watch them right now, in their entirety, for a good time. Especially this one, as it was only 30 minutes long. I've spent worse afternoons in my life, and that's for damn sure. See you guys in the next video. Bye for now.